Once considered a problem among men, a new report shows now that binge drinking becomes more and more popular amongst young American women. A report released by the Centers for Disease Control concluded that 1 in 8 women between the ages of 18 to 34 and 1 in 5 high school girls binge drink on a regular basis. Although considered a national problem, local stories show that binge drinking among young women seems to be a problem on Jacksonville's college campuses. Junior Alyssa Robertson shares the details of a friend's dangerous flirtation with alcohol.
What brought my friend to binge drinking was the fact of encouragement from all of the friends, and we just thought it would be fun to just keep drinking until we can't stop, you know. I know the one time she had been in the hospital, she was totally embarrassed, which I think anybody would, but it never even stopped her because she's been in the hospital more than once, but no one ever did anything about it either.
JU's counselor and outreach coordinator Kyle Fessenden informs young women about the risks of alcohol.
Some of the dangers of binge drinking, especially for women, is the increase in risky behavior. So there's an increase in STD transmission rate, there's an increase in unwanted pregnancies, there's also the inherent risk of violence, being in a more vulnerable position when one is intoxicated.
Community advisor Nick Boucher shares his experiences dealing with binge drinking.
I was pulling my hair sometimes. Some nights I wake up in the middle of the night to these young girls, even I hear them with their high heels clicking down the halls, tripping over things, saying I'm dead drunk, I can't even see left from right. It never goes away from them. It always comes back to them sooner or later, and to see that and to have to hear it every now and then, it's like, why don't we just prevent that and just not crazily take 10 shots in under an hour and think you're going to be fine for the rest of the night. You may regret it the next day.
According to the CDC, 4 or more alcoholic beverages in a 2 to 3 hour span accounted for at least half of alcohol-related deaths in the last year. The study contradicts traditional associations of binge drinking as a man's problem and suggests medical professionals, parents, and friends to talk to young women about the issue. A river flowing north may bring salinity further south, changing the river's ecosystem and the city's economy. Reporter Ethan Wellhausen digs out further information.
A plant that deep in the St. Johns River brings both hope and doubt as to the economic benefits it brings the First Coast. Dr. Quentin White, Executive Director of the Marine Science Research Institute at JU, sees the project as a hazard to the ecology of the river.
The St. Johns River is a complex river, and so I'm very concerned that as we deepen the St. Johns River, we're going to increase salinity. And I'm not totally convinced that the economic benefit is going to be sufficient to outweigh the environmental damage that's going to be done.
As the industry moves to larger vessels with more cargo, it causes ships to ride deeper in the water, becoming a main reason for the dredging. Jacksonville Port Authority believes in educating the public on the reasons for a competitive international port and progressing it forward.
The port itself is responsible for about 65,000 positions and $19 billion a year in positive economic impact. We really affect the quality of life of this area very positively through employment, through development of business, and ports in general are critical to the economy of the nation as a whole as well.
Working with national, state, and local environmental groups, Army Corps of Engineers looks at the impact of dredging. A study on the effect of the ecosystem is currently underway. Preliminary results show increase in salinity.
The environmental issues are critical to the project. Any aspects as far as marine mammals, manatees, right whales, etc., we take a really hard look at ways to completely avoid or minimize any impacts that they may see as part of the dredging construction.
Jacksport sees the project more cost-effective to begin at the mouth of the river and continue to Blunt Island instead of the marine terminal downtown. Incorporating the project into its We Can't Wait initiative, President Obama's role creates more jobs for the city. Reporting for the Dolphin Channel, I'm Ethan Waldhausen.
Plans for further development go to the Congress later this year, with an expected start date in 2015. JU's Dean of Students admits that the St. Johns River has always been his favorite part of JU. After working on campus for several years, Bryan Coker has to say goodbye to the riverfront. Dean of Students Bryan Coker has been a part of JU for almost a decade. Earlier this month, Coker was named Vice President at Goucher College in Baltimore.
Anytime you've been somewhere 10 years and experienced so much in one place, I think the prospect of change is tough. I'm going to miss everything, and I'm trying not to think too much about it. It's been an honor. You know, I've been able to work with students through some of the best of times, but also be there for students during the absolute worst times too.
Coker served as founding chair of the JU Employee Advisory Council, led the development of the Davis Student Commons, and played a lead role in the design and planning of Oak Hall. Coker says he enjoyed helping JU students through good and bad times. Coker will assume his duties at Goucher College in early February. And now for sports. There's only one word to describe the Jaguars' 2012 season: dismal. At 2-14, the Big Cats hit a franchise low, consistently ranking towards the bottom in most offensive and defensive stats. This time last year, new owner Shad Khan introduced his first head coach, Mike Mularkey. After a year plagued by injuries, and as Mularkey would coin a lack of luck, the former Buffalo Bills head coach would not make it into the new year. For many fans, general manager Gene Smith became the scapegoat for a recent slide starting in 2008 when he took over. On New Year's Eve, Smith was let go.
Over the last several years, the team has really gotten worse.
1 week later, Atlanta Falcons Director of Player Personnel, David Caldwell, replaced Smith as the team's general manager. His first hire, former Seattle Seahawks defense coordinator Gus Bradley, will have the task of retooling the Jacksonville Jaguars. In April, the Jaguars will have the second overall pick in this year's NFL Draft. Here at JU, the athletics department also went through an overhaul at the top. David Cotton has the scoop on the changes.
In 2013, the Dolphins are headed in a new direction. Last year, Director of Athletics Alan Verlander announced his resignation, taking a position with Mayor Alvin Brown in his new sports and development team. Taking the helm, a former Super Bowl champion. Brad Edwards is energetic, unwavering in his approach, and ready to take JU athletics into the postseason.
We've had a lot of success here in the last 4 or 5 years, you know, as we talked about, and the last 6 or 7 years really. And I think the goal for us is how do we then take that success and make it really happen in postseason.
After a dismal start in the first quarter of Super Bowl 24, free safety Brad Edwards picked off a pass from quarterback Jim Kelly of the Buffalo Bills. He'd finished the day with 2 interceptions as the Redskins hoisted their 3rd Lombardi trophy. It's an experience Edwards says he'll never forget, in a game few players actually get the chance to participate in.
When your face and eyes first see that field, it's just an amazing experience, and it is. I mean, it's a dream of a lot of people, and it happens so infrequently.
Now in Jacksonville, he's ready to jump into some very large shoes. After taking over the department in 2005, Alan Verlander's program won 2 PFL football titles, hosted NCAA tournaments, and brought JU basketball back to the arena. Edwards wants to continue that tradition, developing better facilities to attract better athletes.
Large part of our initial fundraising has been toward helping us develop a new football stadium, adding in phase 1 as many as 4,500 to 5,000 seats, and then potentially 11,000 seats in a field house.
Up next, Edwards makes his return to an NFL stadium as the Dolphins host the 3rd annual Moe's Southwest Lacrosse Classic. Reporting for the Dolphin Channel, I'm David Cotton.
Edwards helped introduce the Aspire campaign earlier this year. Athletics wants to build a new football stadium as well as a new practice facility for basketball and volleyball. In other sports, your JU's men's basketball team is off to a hot start, first place in the ASUN standings. Head coach Cliff Warren became the Dolphins' all-time winningest coach after a dramatic triple overtime win over Kennesaw State earlier this month. The women are currently sitting in 5th place at 3-7. Women's lacrosse has already played a grueling out-of-conference schedule game against Syracuse in the English national team. Along with the newly formed conference come preseason honors for the Dolphins. Senior Rachel Hannon was named preseason and defensive player of the year. Last season, Hannon was named National Lacrosse Conference Co-Player of the Year and led the nation in draw controls, breaking the previous NCAA record. Along with Hannon, 6 other Dolphins made the preseason all-conference team. The NLC champions are looking to pick up a few more wins. On their 5 home game stand, they take on Vanderbilt. The men are gearing up for the 3rd annual Moe's Southwest Lacrosse Classic at Everbank Field. For more information, visit JUDolphins.com. Remember, you can catch all the action free of charge on asun.tv. With its grand opening last semester, the Larry Strom Amphitheater prepares the schedule for 2013.
We'd all like to say thank you, Larry.
Donator Larry Strom graduated from Jacksonville University when the institution only offered a 2-year junior college degree. The opening River Jam hosted free air balloon rides and consisted of a lineup of bands from the student-run record label Dolphinium Records. The artists included East Coast band Chroma, JU graduate and American Idol contestant AJ Nair, and folk project Weatherman, featuring singer and songwriter Nicholas Williams. Donator Larry Strom played basketball for JU in 1955 and 6 and owns now 3 GM dealerships in Florida. Upcoming events will feature the Jacksonville Symphony Pops Orchestra. That's going to do it for this edition of the Dolphin Channel News. You can find more of our award-winning work on our website at tv.ju.edu or on YouTube under the Dolphin Channel. Also, you can follow the Dolphin Channel on Facebook. I'm Adriana Rodriguez, and from all of us here at the Dolphin Channel News, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.